Hello everybody and welcome to our channel. And by the way, the author of this story is Lucy Montgomery, and I will describe to you three characters of the story. Anne Shirley, an orphan with red hair and freckles, which she hates a lot, and accidentally dyeing it green, and she cut it off and she looks like a boy. And she's best friends with her favorite friend Diana Barry. She has a very good imagination and she's really talkative, and she fights back what Mrs. Lynn said to her before and apologizes with all her heart. Marilla Cuthbert, very strict and stern woman who loves Anne dearly that she disciplines her, and Marilla Cuthbert has a brother named Matthew who is really shy, and Marilla really wanted a boy, but she made up her mind that she would adopt Anne. Matthew Cuthbert, a very shy man. He's the one who fetched Anne at the train station, and he is really shy, nodding at all the women, if you know them or don't. And that's why he doesn't go out often, and Marilla mostly. Chapter 6, Marilla makes up her mind. As I was saying that Anne was pleading Marilla that she could stay, but Marilla said she would stay, but she wouldn't if she didn't make her mind. So Anne went to bed, and Marilla thought about it with Matthew. What use is she gonna be to us, said Marilla. And then Matthew said, we may be of use to her. Matthew Cuthbert, I don't say so. That girl has bewitched you. Of course she didn't, Marilla. Just do as I say. We agree with the plan and let her stay. Marilla thought about it, and she said, I will tell you after I do this. When Marilla was done, she told Matthew that maybe she could agree to let her stay. Matthew was overjoyed, and Marilla was so confused. Matthew went to bed, Marilla as well. In the morning, Anne had to do a lot of chores. She was very obedient, and finally Marilla told her everything, that she could stay at Green Gables, and was too happy that she cried. And Marilla said, what's the matter with you, child? Stop crying and get up and help me. Anne didn't say so, and she rushed out of the doors to tell all the things that she was going to stay. She ran to her favorite tree, the Snow Queen, and told her all about the news. Anne knew that the Snow Queen was happy. She talked to all the flowers and birds and leaves and the nice soft grass, and she drove away to see Matthew. Matthew was so happy, even though he already knew the news that she was going to stay. And then Anne went back to Marilla's house with a beautiful cherry blossom on her hand, which shone in the light. Marilla said that she should arrive at 2 o'clock. And Anne said, sorry, Marilla, I had enjoyed a lot. And then Marilla said, oh, God, stop your nonsense again, and please help me do some patch me a point. Oh, Marilla, it has no scope for the imagination. Come on, Marilla. Come on, Anne. Please, Marilla, it doesn't have much scope for the... Anne, all right. I love doing patch needle work. You said it had no scope for the imagination, Anne. Well, I guess maybe now it has the greatest imagination. We can make so many new stuff with it. Cloth, and I'm so delighted. Bonnie, the Snow Queen, Matthew, and all the leaves and birds are happy that I could stay at Green Gables. It keeps on calling out to me, Anne, go think about this. After a long morning, she went to bed. Marilla and Matthew were happy that the child was happy as well. Chapter 7. Anne says her prayers. Before Anne went to bed, Marilla told Anne that she tossed all her clothes about in the floor. Anne folded them neatly tonight. Marilla told Anne to say her prayers, but Anne said she never said her prayers, and Marilla was froze. She got frozen because of shock, and then she said to Anne that she was a very wicked girl. She said she doesn't mind if anyone says that to her because she'd been experienced that everyone calls her a very wicked girl. And Marilla taught Anne how to pray, to kneel down and close their arms together. But Anne didn't know what to say, and Marilla got really nervous that she only said to Anne that to stay whatever we want in the future and what we like, and are thanking for the blessings. Anne agreed, and she sang a song while saying the prayer. And Marilla went more embarrassed that she went out of the house. And then she said, "Gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for the white wave delight and the lake of shining waters. And we thank you for Bonnie, and I will mention the two most important things. Let me say it, Green Gables, and please let me be good looking when I grow up." Marilla was shocked to hear Anne say those weird kind of things of praying, but she didn't mind and told Anne it was very good, and she slammed the door away and let Anne doze off to sleep. She told Matthew everything what she saw, that Anne sang when she did her prayers. Marilla said, "Can't you just believe it? Think about it. Have you heard that high-pitched voice when she was praying?" Matthew thought about it, and he remembered it. Matthew said, "Well, I did." He said, "Well, it's getting late, Marilla, and we have to sleep." "Well, all right then, Matthew," said Marilla. "Good night." "Good night." And then they had a nice, warm night. Chapter 8. Anne's bringing up has begun. Since Anne was a cuthbert, she gets to do whatever she wants, and she got to leave Green Gables for her break time. It was her break time that day, and she said, "What is it?" "It's just a lovely, pretty day." No, it shouldn't be a lovely, pretty day. It's a lovely, fantastic day. Since I'm a cuthbert, I'm excited to explore this world. I've never been to Green Gables, and it's really nice to imagine things. I love to dance with the birds. And she danced with the birds indeed. She sang with them and looked at the leaves under the shady tree and rolled around the glass, picking flowers and playing it all around and imagining she was Princess Cordelia, getting her old dirty dress, raising it up to the air like a long puff sleeve. She tried to imagine, and she said, "It's the best day I ever had." But she wasn't unaware that Mrs. Lynde was there to discuss something with Marilla. And when Marilla called Anne in, she saw that Anne had red hair, freckles, thin. She was thin, skinny, and she had a skimpy dress. And she looked so dull with all those with all the mess in her hair. Chapter 9. Mrs. Rachel Lynde is properly horrified. When she saw Anne, she said, "Oh, Marilla, she's really weird, child. Look at all those red hair. The 2 plaits look red as carrots. And those freckles, oh, so many freckles. It's like bugs crawling on her face. And also, oh, she's really skinny, Marilla. And she's very so homely. How dare you say such things about me," said Anne. She said it in a very, very loud voice. The more she stomped, the more louder she said, "I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you! You are the rude and unfeeling woman, Mrs. Lynde. How would you like to say bad things about you, that you were ugly and you were fat and clumsy?" Mrs. Lynde said, "Oh, Marilla, she should learn how to control her temper. How much she gets angry, she's nearly red. Mrs. Lynde, you are a rude and unfeeling woman, and I shall never forgive you about this." Mrs. Rachel Lynde was shocked to hear that Anne had a very bad temper. She said, "Well, Marilla, I'm leaving for now. Goodbye. And try to take care of your unmiserable Anne. Oh, she's really, really, really bad. And she never knew how to control her temper. See you later, and I'm not coming back to tell you any more about the news." Mrs. Cuthbert said, "Oh, it's your fault, Rachel, that you're not coming back because you said those bad things about her. Just stop and say some good things and apologize." "Apologize? It was Anne who caused all of this," said Rachel. "No, it was you. What did she say about you first?" "She said I was fat and clumsy," said Mrs. Rachel Lynde. "Oh, but you called her skinny and ugly and red-haired and freckled." "Oh, but it's still her fault. Seeing those things, I'm just an outspoken person, you see. What's wrong of being outspoken? And you see that Anne of yours is really, really, really bad at controlling her temper. Just make sure that she's gonna say farewell for me not telling you the news." Mrs. Cuthbert said, "All right then. Someday you will regret it." And then she went up to Anne's room and said, "Anne, what did you do that for? She called me skinny and ugly, remember that?" She said, "Oh, Anne, she's just an outspoken person, and you always fly into a temper when someone says something bad about you." "Well, not for this one. I'm never apologizing. Or give me any punishment you like for me. Shut me in a dark, damp dungeons full of snakes, bears, and tigers to eat me all up, and just feed me bread and water only." "Well, we have no habit of shutting people in dungeons." "Well, then do it. Just do it." "Well, we're not allowed." "Well, the punishment is you'll stay in your room until you apologize." "Well, maybe I'll stay in my room forever and never feed me instead and let me die in here. Just I cannot tell Mrs. Rachel Lynde that I'm sorry, because I'm not." Anne walked straight to her room, slammed the door, and everything started to shake. One night, Matthew sneaked into Anne's room and said, "Anne, it's very quiet down there without you. Please apologize for me, and everything will be over. Mrs. Lynde is just a very outspoken person." "There's nothing wrong to do with an outspoken person." "Well, there is need. If she's an outspoken person, she shouldn't be outspoken about looks. She should be outspoken of some things, like whatever comes up to my mind. But Matthew, I really can't. Just please, Anne, just do it, and then everything will be over. And then you can start going outside and see your favorite tree, the Snow Queen, Bonnie, and do your needlepoint. All right, Matthew, I will do it just for you. Chapter 10, Anne's Apology. Anne was walking straight to Mrs. Lynde's house. Oh, Marilla, I'm excited to apologize. Well, you don't look sorry to me. But of course I'm sorry. I will look sorry when I apologize. I'm just thinking what to say to Mrs. Lynde. Well, all right. Just hurry up. We're nearly there. Oh, I'm excited. Let me continue thinking about it. Huh. I know what to say, Marilla. Oh, Mrs. Lynde, I'm sorry. So sorry. I shouldn't have said those things about you. And yes, every word you said was true. I am ugly, and I'm red-haired and freckled, and I'm skinny and ugly. Oh, I just can't express how sorry I am, even if I use a whole-up dictionary, and I deserve a bad punishment. And Mrs. Lynde, what I said to you was true too, but I shouldn't have said it out. And I think you are really, really nice. And I promise I won't mind what you say again. There, child. Get up now. Of course I forgive you. Except your hair is really, really ugly. I know that. And I promise that I will never ever say anything rude or fly into a temper again. Well, that's a good apology, and here, you want to pick some roses? Go to my garden and find some. Yay, Mrs. Lynde, thank you! And Marilla and Mrs. Lynde talked that Anne was a very good apologizer and skipped along home with a happy face. I apologized well, didn't I? Well, you did enough, said Marilla. Well, that's kind of nice, but you don't even look sorry. All right. I think I'll look sorry sometime. All right, you will. Are we going? Am I invited to the Barrys? Of course, Anne, you are. You are invited to Diana Barry to come and invite to see you. Oh, yes. The next morning, Anne went to the Barry's place. She was dressed in her finest gown she could ever see in the room. And she said, oh, am I looking great, Marilla? Am I doing well? I suppose you're doing well enough. Good morning, Mrs. Barry. Good morning, Diana. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Diana showed Anne around the garden. Anne stared and stared at Diana because she was so beautiful. And she had long raven black hair, black than a raven's wing. And eyes, brown eyes, brown as chocolate. And a rosy complexion, soft as a nice cotton ball. And her eyes shimmered along the way. Anne said, Diana, will you ever like me? Said Anne. Of course I like you now, said Diana. Well, I think you look perfectly nice. And let's swear to each other. Is swearing a bad thing? Of course not. There's two kinds of swearing. I swear to be faithful to my best friend Diana Barry as long as the sun and moon shall endure. Now it's your turn, Diana. And put my name into it. I swear to be faithful to my best friend, Aunt Shirley, as long as the Sun and Moon Challenger. And their friendship was connected to each other. No matter how far they went, they were always together in their hearts. And was really, really happy to have a nice friend like as Diana is. And she was really, really happy. And then they walked together and spent the whole day together, and Anne didn't even want to go home. But Marilla and Mrs. Barry said, "We'll give you a bit of time, but after that, you better go home." And then Diana still continued showing each other their favorite things and sharing all their secrets together. And Anne enjoyed all the secrets Diana shared with her. "It's time to go home, kids." Anne came rushing down with a happy face on her face, and she said, "Goodbye, Diana." "Goodbye, Aunt Shirley," said Diana. "I hope we see each other next time. I hope we will." Anne drove home, and Diana told her mother that Anne was a really, really, really special friend in her whole wild world. Instead of her classmates, Anne is what she's going to be choosing as her nice new best friend. And they could never, ever, ever have their friendship apart. I swear to be faithful to my best friend Diana Barry. Oh, not in here, Anne. Not in here. Not in here. You'll spoil the food. Uh-oh. And Anne blew the dandelion seeds all across the house. Oh no, I'll get it. All the dandelion seeds, and she threw them out of the window to spread it all around. And Shirley, I think you might have to concentrate while being friends with Diana. Anyways, you better be careful what you say to her because she's a very elegant child. And you know what? I know, Anne. She has a sister named Minnie May. Yes, that's what I'm gonna say to you. And she's really, really